So today I'm going to do another book review. This is Dethroning the King, which is the story of the takeover of Anheuser-Busch by InBev. And I worked for Anheuser-Busch for maybe 5 or 6 years. So this was particularly interesting for me. And this is an amazing book. I highly recommend this. And the book is, well, first of all, it's a really powerful and a fast read, but it's also a terrible, terrible indictment of sort of what could happen if you have this sort of insular, US-centric outlook as Anheuser-Busch did. And what happens when you run into globalism that, of course, is sweeping the world now. So here you had a company which had great success, really, sort of smart people running it, but at the same time, sort of an inferior product on a global, from a global perspective, and very similar sort of to what happened with General Motors, where again they just sort of felt that their product was the best. They weren't going to look for what was going on around the world, very afraid and suspicious of change, and really slow to adapt to this changing consumer landscape. And I think also the fact that within the company at Anheuser-Busch, I'm talking about now, that there was so little diversity, meant that they were not going to be really able to recognize the changes that were happening and know how to deal with InBev, who were like super, super smart global business leaders. So, and I remember once very distinctly, it sort of brought home to me in reading this book again, that I'd done a presentation, and August Busch III was there, and I was talking about different competitive smaller beer brands that were showing up with consumers, and he came up to me afterwards and he was like, "What was this brand you mentioned, Chimay? I've never heard of it." And I thought he was like testing me or kidding me or something, but he actually had never heard of it, which I thought was just astonishing given how much you did know about beer. And then I also want to talk about this writer, Julie McIntosh. She is a great writer. This book is incredibly cinematic. The way she ties together all of these, things that are going on with all of these different characters. Andrew Ross Sorkin, who wrote Too Big to Fail, was like my previous favorite business writer, but I must say Julie McIntosh is, I think, might even be a little bit better than he is. So anyway, read this if you have any interest in sort of what's happening with American business, and I will do another review soon. Reading a lot of books these days.